Yes, today now working with NAB in a new session, Business Central, to show you in today's topic, as you see, is account schedule. Today, I'm very happy to present this functionality. I'm going to use in the cloud client, which is actually still NAB functionality, but now we are moving to the use of Business Central, the new NAB, let's call it that way. So we're going to start working now with that today. And don't worry, for those of you who are seeing who are still working with NAB, since you will be finding, and you're going to be able to find exactly the same the same topic, the same functionality we're about to review. So in advance, before we just begin, today the idea is to have a workshop where we are going to actually work and understand what is an account schedule. We're going to have a new screen, which is Business Central, remember, but you're going to also take a look at these new features that Business Central has. For those of you who are wondering, and maybe if you still don't know, well, NAB is going to through different changes, enhancements, going specifically into the cloud, and having the possibility to show you a mix of the functionality that's still in both versions of the same ERP. So you can just to mention it, see what's the future of NAB, but having the same functionality. So today's webinar is still NAB, but working with Business Central. All right, so let's go to the topic, account schedules. What happened? What's this? For those of you who don't know, this is for accountants, financial specifically. Account schedule is a reporting functionality. What happened when you have your implementation? You currently actually work with reporting services. You could use Jet Reports, you could use SQL or Power BI, for those of you who like to still work with Excel. All of those tools actually work very well. They work seamlessly with the ERP, with NAB, Microsoft Dynamics, and Business Central. But in this case, we are going to present a tool where all of you accountants can use to create your own reports. Right, that exists, is standard functionality, and this is specifically for finance. So we're going to see that one company, a demo company, we're going to present our one chart of accounts, and somehow we sometimes have different ideas as accountants where we would like to see a specific trial balance. Let's say that we would normally see one period. Sometimes we would like, why not to decide, hey, I would like to see a comparison with 2 or 3 periods in the past, by quarter, by week, by month, right? I would like to have a cash flow analysis. All right, let's play with our chart of accounts. You would export that to your Excel. Remember that maybe it's integrated with Office, right? So you would normally have to work outside and work with your own personal designs. And well, guess what? You have that tool inside the standard functionality. Let's go there and learn about this process. Okay, so account schedule, let's start defining what it is, and then we're gonna go and check the components. Last but not least, create our report. Okay, so today, you can use account schedules to create financial reports in a flexible way and without needing to develop them, meaning you don't require a programmer. After that, one main purpose of account schedule is to provide a place for calculations that cannot be made directly in the chart of accounts. For example, the user can create account schedules to calculate profit margins on dimensions, departments, customer groups. Additionally, users can filter any entries and budget entries, such as by net change or debit amount. Then, with account schedules, you can perform the following tasks: create customized financial reports, like we were explaining before, without using the report designer. Create as many account schedules as needed, each with a unique name. So you can create many reports. Set up various reports layouts and print the reports with the current figures. Another thing is that this is on real time as well. So it's not only about reporting, but you can actually see your chart of accounts with your own design when you want specific financial information on real time. Finally, you can export financial data to Microsoft Excel from not only a Business Central, but the actual layout that you have just designed. Then, why do I use this normally? Okay, with account schedules, you can perform the following tasks. Understand the three foundations of designing account schedules. Come away with ideas on how to go beyond the basics with account schedule. So in this case, what I want to give you is sometimes we have these third-party reporting services which work great. I cannot say anything bad nor good about this independently. But sometimes the idea is that we just want something a tool that an accountant can understand to create their own reports with their chart of accounts, with the income statement, with the balance sheet, and so on. So we have that tool, and this is what we're going to see today. So then, why and what's the purpose of this specific tool? What are the features? Well, first of all, they have a direct tie into the general ledger, so you see your actual transactions. Customized financial, so you can create your ideas, maybe in sales accounts, for instance, but with the salespeople who is involved. Why not to see if you have, for those of you who have retail, well, the sales divided by store, and so on. Integrated with budgets, the third one is because we normally create our chart of accounts, and in another page we sometimes create the budgets, right? Financial budgets. This is not purchases, but we can make budgets on GL accounts. And then you would like to have a comparison among your specific limits for every GL account or budget, a GL budget, and then make comparisons, all right? Dimension filtering, dimensions is for us the specific way of adding information to the financial transaction, where we can add another variable like the store, who sold, the salespeople. Sometimes we would like for expenses to add more information like departments and so on. So we can see now your financial information by those specific features. Then download to Excel, build reports myself, remember, for accountants, right? And comes with Business Central. This is all standard. Then the basic elements we are going to check today. We call it, or well, this is actually just a name that how I explain it in my trainings. The big three is the way we are going to be able to understand a structure. So we have a row setup, a column layout. So we have an X and a Y component like Excel does, plus something that we call analysis view, where you could tell, hey, I would like to see my specific financial information by any of my dimensions. You would like to have maybe business type of business group. You would like to have the geographical area. Sometimes, remember, the dimension concept is that you are going to be applying your transactions posted to the general ledger with extra information, not only the specific GL and the amount, but it can carry who sold for sales accounts, in which geographical area you've been selling, who was the person who was involved with the transaction, and any other idea that you might have. Then extra components. So the big three is that we're going to have a row and a column for any given report. We work for any report with that, but in NAB, since we have dimensions, we can add that other way of seeing the same GL accounts, but why not to see my financial sales operations, sales transactions posted already to the GL, but by geographical area. The accountant can decide how to do so. Extra components, we have formulas. You can format your reports. You can date filtering. This is very good feature, so you can just change from period to period. So you don't have to repeat and reorganize or download to Excel many information from different periods and start filtering, creating pivot tables and the old-fashioned way. So well, actually this tool has some years working within a NAB before, and now is also, it works so well that it still continues to be a part of Business Central functionality. Then as well, we can drill down reports, meaning that any report, this is a live environment that is a report that you can just see, but if you can just drill down into your specific line of any report, you can see the account detail. Last but not least, print reports. We can export to Excel, we can export to PDF, to Word. If you would like to better download to maybe giving some format and then share maybe for a meeting or something like that, right? So you can just print them, export them, and do whatever you need once the report is designed, so you don't have to export your information to later work within Excel. Now it will be already pre-built. Okay, let's take a look. This is a component that we call, in order to navigate the account schedule. Remember the name, right? Because it doesn't have like the specific name like a report for financial or anything. It's just account schedule. And here in this image, I'm just showing you that Business Central already has some pre-configured reports that you can use as an example, which we're going to take a look in one moment. All right, after that, I'm going to take a look at the basic components that we mentioned before, so you can take a look at what is the components that we are going to be working with. Actually, these are very easy to understand, but we need to check them before going and work so you can understand what are we going to be doing. First of all, every report needs to have a specific sort of raw configuration for all the lines. This is not like a BI specifically, where in BI you would like to work maybe with much more complex information like cubes, databases, right? This is just financial accounts where you can organize, reorganize, and in this case, in this image, this is from Business Central. What I have here is that I have all my different lines for a report that I will be creating. Let's take a look from 10, the line 10, 11, 20, 30, 40. These are lines for a report. Then in every line, like in Excel, I will be adding my text or my description for every row. But what's the magic behind this tool is that in this section that is called totaling and the totaling type, what I'm going to be doing for every row that I put in my report that I'm going to be creating is that I can come into the system and recall some specific financial transaction, like in this case, a GL account. So you can create a line giving ideas of maybe I would like to create a sales report, right? But you have your own names for your sales accounts, but in a report we would normally, I don't know, would consolidate all my sales accounts into one to call it just the sales, right? So you could create your lines according to what your design of a report is, financial report, let's recall, because here in the totaling a field, in the totaling a column, look at this for 40,000 numbers. These are actually GL accounts. So you are actually recalling that, and later when you run this, this is going to show and it's going to recall the transactions for these accounts you are indicating in every line. So instead of the GL account, you're going to see the amount or the transactions, and NAB is going to help you to, if you indicate the GL accounts in this report, in this brief example, okay, this is what I'm going to use my report. Okay, so the row setup requires that you set up your specific lines in the row number, create your description similar to Excel, but the only difference is that in Excel you cannot integrate your actual GL account information, and here you can. So that's the magic with this. Then let's check at the column layout. For every report, we would like to have also a column layout. In this case, what do? We normally, in the column layout, since this is financial information, normally we would be working with periodicity, with time, with a slice of a specific period, range date as well. So let's take a look at this column, column layout, okay? In this case, it's funny how it's presented. Actually, we're going to take a look at it in a moment in the ERP so you can get rid of all this information, how it's configured. All my columns are here. In the first column, I have my current period. In my second row, this is funny, but this is the second column I'm going to be presenting, is a current period -1. But actually, even if this is presented in rows, this is actually another line that will be a column. Let's take a look in a moment. And in the third line, I'm specifying to NAV, I want my current period -2. So you can create any type of periods. We're gonna see that in a second. Not only by in this example, but I could actually compare month by month, a year after year, or just the current period of year to date, or the initial balances of my GL account. So, but just take a look on the very first thing to learn about column layout. We work with time, with slices and dices of time. Then let's take a look at analysis view. This is the third component of our tree. Analysis view is if you already have your dimensions, what we're going to be configuring in analysis view. If we take a look here, what I'm doing, I want to have, remember the reports, it's very important to understand that they have real data, and sometimes they could take a while in order to be updated. It depends, right? If you have thousands of transactions for specific periods, well, also the analysis view gives us a possibility to take the information that we want and put it in a second place. So I have majority of my information. I do not have to extract and wait for the entire information to be extracted or recall it from the actual database from scratch. So we're going to have like a bridge. In this case, that's the analysis view. But what information I would like to have in this bridge, well, is you indicate in this case the GL accounts, account filter, some specific transactions posted in the accounts. I believe those are sales accounts in my demo. 40,000 accounts are for me sales. And let's have compression by day. But if you do know that your reports are not specifically by day, well, you can make another date compression like week or month, it depends. And the start date from where you want to, you know that you will be reporting. So, okay, let's start extracting information in our analysis views from one specific date or a starting date, right? So the functionality for this is also, I would like to check the dimension, in this case, the customer group. My dimension in this demo, the customer group, is related to the size of the customer. The customer group could be large, medium, or small. So what I'm going to be doing is telling, in this case, for my analysis view, please select these GL account transactions by the specific dimensions and update. Let's take a look at the functionality here. Update this function. What it's going to be doing is going to update your report with the last transactions that were posted. So whenever you want to see this specific analysis view, you just need to click on update to update the actual report. So once again, we have three components: the rows, the column, and the analysis view. Now let's take a look at the formulations. For every report, we do not just only include our row and columns, but talking about the specific layout, we also can create formulations where we could just summarize some specific rows, like in this, look at inside the red square, we indicate the total and type column formula, and then look at above the red square we have posting accounts. So what we are doing is bringing the actual information from those accounts for those rows that I say are indicate that those are posting accounts, but in this case we are also indicating that we desire to do a formula. So we need to decide in the totaling type when we need to do a formulation, and in the totaling column in the specific row we need to indicate which lines are we formulating. We can divide, summarize, and multiply, and so on. So basic formulations, arithmetical formulations mostly, all right? So another type of formula when we talk about now the column layouts, let's recall that the column layouts are more related sometimes with time, but another use of the formulations are also the budgets, which we are going to present in a moment as well. So what I'm doing here for this formula is like look at the column field where I have N and B, the column header, net change, budget, and variance. All right, what is this column layout doing? Okay, in one column for any specific report, right, you decide which column layout you would like to use. Then in this specific, whenever I use this column layout for any of the reports that I create, it's going to be presenting my net change, then the budgeted amount for, remember, the GL account budgets, and then the difference. And then for this case, I have a formulation, and in the red square, the formula is 100 multiplied by a number of periods, B minus 1. Right, so I can just understand this formula is nothing but to formulate in percentage the specific difference between the net change and the budgeted amount to be presenting a formula represented the result in percentage. So those are the type of formulations. So another type of formulas is a comparison period formula, where you can indicate sometimes in this example, I'm presenting that for a column layout, I can present my current period in the first line, number 10. Then I want to see the net change for the current period only. How do I tell the system that I want to just be present, to present that in my report? Well, FYCP means at this point in this row that I want the current period, right? Then the current period budgeted, and the different, look at the formulation in the formula column as well. We have two formulas here. But what happened below in the row number 50 year to date, right? So what is presenting me is that I want to have the specific formulation for the year. Then I have in brackets a range of the first period 1 January until the current period. That is how NAV understand that this is at this point going to summarize a range of different periods, right? I'm going to show you the specific a nomenclature to be able to tell NAV what you want, because you're going to need it if you want to see and to create your reports. Surely you're going to be comparing periods, right? So let's take a look at this. The abbreviation that we are going to be using just for the webinar, so you can take a look later when you want to study. P is a period, LP, last period of the fiscal year. If you want to present it in any line of your report or in any column, this is specific amounts, a current period of the fiscal year, half year, or quarter. FY fiscal year, for example, and this is the formulation we saw before, a range from January to March, denotes first quarter of the current fiscal year. All right, so you would need to use this specific nomenclature in the specific field that is called comparison period, so NAV can understand what you want. Because you can indicate, for instance, in any row that, okay, this or a column, I want to see the information for the quarter or for the current period. Well, How you indicate that to NAV? You just press P in the comparison period formulation, and voila, NAV understand. I want to take a look at any GL account, but if you put P, well, only give me the actual information for the current period. Then we have some other more interesting, let's say, that also you could be using whenever they are needed, where you will be using for comparisons. Okay, the first time will be blank as well. Blank is as well current period, all right? -1, and once again, the word P for the period is -1 period, or the last period. If I'm taking a look at the reports by month, well, I will be looking at the last month, but could be by years. You can decide as well. I'm going to show you that because you can filter your information, and with these formulations, you can actually just work. They are fixed, but anyway, you could be, if you can take a look and you can you start changing the periodicity of your reports, you can still do it by using any of these formulas and type previous fiscal year, -1 previous fiscal year. So you can just go by year, by month, and so on. So I'm going to leave just this image for you when you want to study, just to see what type of periods you can use. So let's take a look at the raw setup. Totaling type allows the selection at the line level of underline and double underline options. Okay, so you can start like giving some formats for totals, right? Then show height. You can, for instance, say that if any of the lines in your accounts on your report is not actually to be printed, you can hide it. Show opposite sign. For instance, sometimes we have some debits or credits, it depends the specific account, but for instance, the sales account will be normally shown in negative. So for accountants, that will be perfectly normal, but for somebody else who doesn't actually work normally with this type of credit debits criteria, then they would like to see, of course, the sales amount in positive amount. So you can change it. You can insert new page if you decide that some specific report needs to be sliced between after presenting one information, print in another page the following part of the same report, or you create like your own layouts where you can just separate the specific information. Then bold, italic, underline, just the specific formatting parts of any line where you could just mark some text or titles or total totaling lines where you would like to add some formatting to those specific lines for printing. Then for columns, you can as well show on side, show opposite side, and create rounding factors. All right, so basically that's part of the functionality when you start designing, just for you to understand there are formulations, you can give formatting, and at last but not least, what happened when I already have a report? I just don't want to see the same information always, right? Specifically, what I have, I don't want to see the same information towards the specific periods, okay? Let's take a look. In this income statement that was already pre-configured, we're going to see it. If you take a look at the red square, you can start filtering by date, the transactions of the day, the month. So it's very, very dynamic. That's why one of the things or the features that why this tool is still in Business Central, because it's dynamic for the accountants. You can change by day, by month, by year, change the filter, right? So, and if you take a look on the information below, these are income accounts, sales discounts, sale income interest. So everything is all about sales. Well, why not to start checking the actual information by specific period, which is very useful, right? So you can do it when you have your report that you have designed, just come and start working with it. Then you can also include budgeting. I don't know if you if you don't understand still budgeting, well, you can create a budget for your GL accounts. I'm going to show a little So we can include that. This is not the main purpose, but the budgeting is very important for any financial department, since you can create budgets for sales operations, for expenses by department if you have the dimension. By sales people, you would like to have some targets as well, and you as an accountant, even before going into your great reports with BI or charts, you can actually just take a look here and create your own reports for sales operations and just start budgeting. We have it, and you can compare that in this tool. So that's why budgeting is important as well. You can have budgets in NAB and Business Central, and you can just use them here. All right. Now, the last features. We can just, every time we create a report, the idea, the real idea of having a report created by you, the accountant, the controller, AP manager, is that you actually want to see the detail in real time. Every transaction posted, divided, and giving you the information only for your report. So you don't have to open only the large list of in the chart of accounts that you have in your company, but now you report only. Printing functionality, actually a hard copy, and export to Excel, Word, and PDF. All right, so let's start working with this. We're gonna just this is one of our last tips before we go to actually work within Business Central. So this is something that you need to remember. If you have an account, go back and edit. So when you create a report, you can just open it and continue editing, right? It's not a problem. You can do it. Don't be afraid of working with this tool. It's very easy. I'm going to show you how. When in doubt, view the candidate trial balances. Sometimes when you are creating or designing reports, you might have these specific doubts about if the balances on your report that you are designing is actually okay. Maybe you are forgetting one account. Sometimes you have large subsets of accounts for expenses, as an example. Sometimes we work with large list of expense accounts, and sometimes you need to see if you're actually not forgetting if your report is matching the real data. So just print the trial balance that you have in the system. Voila, you're done. You can check any line that you want and the total just to see if everything matches properly. Then always add rows and column layouts. All right. So the idea is that in order to at least being able to create a report, just create the features, rows and layouts, 4 columns. Okay. Include analysis view if you need dimensions. Remember, even though you could create your rows and your columns for the different periods, like we said, sometimes you need to include your dimensions for that. Just to have that in mind, you will need the third and last element or component of the 3, the analysis view. And there is where we include these dimensions. Group row numbers for further formulations. So if you want to create totals and subtotals and plus then actual formulas, arithmetical operations, well, it's very, very recommended for the presentation that you start creating segments of the information, all right? Copy in Excel for easy view if you need it, because this is not because the tool is not good to work in a visual way, but you can do it. You can make it sometimes in Excel is very, very fast to understand because most of us are very used to work also with Excel. And last but not least, copy your account schedule if you want additional changes. Sometimes we would like to use the report. Sometimes we already designed and then we have another idea where we would be just would like to work with this new feature for an old report. So you can just copy paste and just come in and do not have to start from scratch, copy paste and then edit your second version. All right. So basically that's it. Let's work now within Business Central. Let's open it and let's work with our account schedule that we have just created. I have just closed my presentation and now I'm presenting the Business Central page. Now, Business Central is in a cloud environment. It's also a mixture of on-premises and cloud functionality. As you prefer, we can install it and implement it for you. what you're seeing at this point is just actually in my browser. If you, let me show you here, I'm working within this is Google, right? So you can just take a look at any browser that you would like to have. Now this is the work we actually, the way we work now. So I'm just going to open my browser and immediately I'm going to see the actual ERP. This is it. This is the future. This is where NAB is going to now. Now, nevertheless, don't forget that we still have the same functionality. So for me, who already know how to use NAB, all my functionality for payables, for receivables, for inventory, for items, everything is here, but it's enhanced, of course. Every version of NAB is going to be presenting. Now the architecture has just changed. By the way, I'm presenting the role center of a manager today. If I'm not mistaken, yes, Megan Bowen. So this is a user who's working today with us. And for me, actually, the idea of presenting this feature, let me see, excuse me, I'm an accountant today. It's good that I will be presenting the role center for a person who will be in charge of reporting. Here, as usual, well, a role center dedicated for that type of operator in my company. Look, I have some indicators. The largest posted sales invoice was for specific amounts. My actions where I have receivable, payables, bank, everything is here, right? So also I have different KPIs, and well, these have different features like, for instance, I have the purchase due today that I need to pay, okay? The purchase that will be due next week, pending approvals, so you can approve payments, incoming documents, task for me, some videos now also. So the idea is that I will be just working within this role center. Also, oh, by the way, product videos, because you can actually accidentally I click on the videos, but it's good. Here you can see that in the same ERP, we are now offering the help that you need to be trained, right? So with this, well, we have some beautiful charts and some specific lists for, in this case, my accounts. Okay, I control the petty cash, accounts receivable, and accounts payable accounts, all right? So I need to have a very close look at those accounts, so it's already there. Okay, I haven't even opened my chart of accounts. It's just there because it's embedded. My vendors, okay, the most important ones are here. Well, just a list of your most important vendors can be just, we can manage your list and create it for you. Then finance performance, let's take a look at the cash flow. Well, in this case, I have by colors the total liquid funds in green. In gray is total receivables and payables below zero. Here I have the information so you can see your actual numbers. 5 customers by sales revenue, creating a pie chart, beautiful pie chart in different shades of greens and gray. And here another cash flow chart where I can see that, well, as long as I'm above zero, well, all my different payables, liquid funds, sales order, purchase order, my incomes minus my specific expenses for the period at this moment for the cash flow control are above zero. So over almost under 200K, well, it's good for my company as a requirement for me to start analyzing. So when I open just Business Central, everything will be there just for you to understand the company. For me, nevertheless, the work today is the account schedules. Let's go back. I'm going to just open the account schedules. Let me see where it is. Where is here is account schedules. Okay. For account schedules, like we said, oh, why not to see also the chart of accounts first? Because the idea of presenting also is that this is NAB. As you can see, I have a search bar like in your NAB. I'm going to just open chart of accounts, and I'm just going to be adding the functionality where in my web browser, I'm going to just be checking my specific accounts. So I have my entire chart of accounts list by the account number, description, and net changes plus balances, right? So everything is here. I can also navigate into my information just to verify that everything is working fine and so on. So the idea here is that I would be normally working here, but well, once in a while, I would like to also use my reports here, my accounts, just to take, hey, I would like to see, I don't know, my income And I would like to make a comparison of the income of the net change, because this is currently the net change and the balance, but I would sometimes need to see the last periods or the difference with my budgets, right? Specifically, for instance, for expenses, okay? I have these figures. I have, in this case, just 15,000 for the rent, right? What, am I actually just paying that? So I would like to create part of my expenses for the year, all right? So I would like to actually use all of these accounts, why not? And then compare the budgets to my any budgets for the by month, for an area. If you have departments in your company as well, you can use them. Not only budgets, but let's remember that you are going to be able to design your own reports. You don't necessarily need to take a look anymore at the chart of accounts list by itself. So what I'm going to be doing once again is open the chart of accounts. Let's take a look. We have in this report section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 reports that are actually at this point predefined and for you to use as an example. Let's take a look at one of them. Okay, I have one for balance sheet only. So only balance sheet accounts are already here. So I just would like to have an overview of that information where I will be able to see my specific balance sheet. In this case, we have the same balances that we normally would see the chart of accounts and all the specific balance sheet accounts, okay? So I have the total liabilities plus equity, $257,000 for my demo company as a total. But guess what? The whole idea of using all of this is that you can actually review by day, by week, month, quarter, year, and specific accounting period that you want, or indicate a date filter. So that was part of the components of that I was actually talking about. So this is the actual report that was already included as a template, as an example. But we're going to see how to create such a thing. All right, such a report for you as a accountant that is seeing account schedules for the first time. But this is the attractive part, all right? Once everything is designed, you're going to be able to decide how you would like to actually work with this. In this case, okay, I also would like to create this and export it to Excel. Why not? All right. So yes, the idea at this point is once my report is only containing this type of accounts, I will be just working within Excel just to maybe be able to present this information later and export it. Is already saved in my company. But also you can toggle with these tools to previous and next periods. All right. So for me, it would be important to start working and I'm just going to be changing from period to period for you to see how the figures are actually changing in the below reported accounts. Okay, so everything is just changing. I can see the information, and well, these are just the basic tools. So you have the possibility to check this. In this case, also your dimensions. You can filter, in this case, by department. My departments for my company are administration, production, and sales. So if you want, you can use this as well just to filter. And well, not to be used with the balance sheet, but you have customers, large, medium, or small for this company. Let's take a look better at the P&L to check the dimensions. Then budgets. You can decide whether you, for instance, I have a budget for the year 2019. Would you like to use it and being able to compare? All right. So basic tools by periods, by dimensions, and here, last but not least, you can actually navigate into the actual transaction, because my idea of having the report is that I will be designing whatever I want with my GL accounts, but also I need to see for every total, in this case, the accumulated depreciation. All right. I would like to see the total on every transaction that was posted. Okay. So I just have one transaction accumulated depreciation. Maybe this is just an opening balance for my demo. So the idea is that you can navigate and take a look at the detail. All right. So this is basically an account schedule. So this is our report. It's just basically that. All right. The idea is, an important thing is how I came up with this, how I did it, How is it this is difficult? Okay, at this point through the presentation, there might be or you have always asked, could there be maybe a tool that can help me in order to create my own reports? And also, if that's not difficult, of course that you will take a chance in order to actually just do it by yourself. Let's take a look and just immediately do it. How easy it is, okay? For the first time, I'm going to be creating an account schedule, and for me, I'm going to create this balance sheet with the, okay, the P&L. Let me change my keyboard to use specific character, P&L, okay? This is, okay, the income statement. And well, what do we have here is that we are just creating the name of my report. Now, two things, the first component, the rows, the second, the columns, all right? So let's start designing my P&L income statement for the first time. So if I want to do it, I just need to go to process and edit account schedule. So it's already created one title, the P&L income statement. I'm just going to click on this, edit account schedule, and here is more or less like an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet, where you are going to be including your rows and everything here, the description, and here, guess what, the totaling. The totaling is where we are going to be including the specific GL account that we want to record for my report. Okay, I'm just going to show you one example. Okay, this is the row number 10, the row number 20, and row number 30. Simple as, it's more or less like Excel, and where I would like to create the line number test, test 1, then the test 2, and the test 3. These lines could be expenses, right? And then the whole idea is that we have totaling type a field. The totaling type field is going to show is where we are going to be able to indicate what you want to include in this specific row. So I have total accounts, formula underline, double underline, cost type, the different type of different components that we have all over NAV everywhere where my financial information can be used. For now, and to begin, we are going to be using a posting account. Why? Because whenever I use this option, I'm going to be able to take I'm going to be able to include any of my financial accounts that I have in my chart of accounts, and all of those who are posting, you have the feature and the type of account that you have. So posting means no other but that you can actually create a general journal and actually post directly into the payable, into the account. And also, well, you have end and begin total, meaning that they are actually totaling a set or a subset of accounts. All right, so you can just, in order to start creating your report, select any of the accounts that you have in your chart of accounts, and I'm just actually just doing it randomly. Just include any account, or you could also, why not, to include maybe a more than one account, just simple as, and just start working. And in this case, we have created a range, right? Now, I'm going to create a formula. Remember that all these totaling are just simple GL accounts, but this is very powerful because while I'm actually just doing this, when I just print this information, NAB is going to see the transactions that are posted into these GL accounts. In this case, I'm just going to summarize in my formula the row number 10, which is the first line, plus the second one, which is a plus 20, simple as. As you can see, this is very, 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 very easy to use, and no more than that. But then later the idea is just to present for the webinar also the features that we have. So what can we present for the specific account that I'm just showing? The net change, the balance update, or the beginning balance as well. What would you like to present at this moment, right, for your own report? And also the net amount, or for a specific type of reports, you would like to only see the debit or the credit, right? So you can decide in every line what would you like to see. some features that we were specifying before in our presentation. Here's the show opposite sign that we could use for sales operations ROS. And somehow, sometimes you would like to make some notes on some ROS, but you don't, when you print them, you don't want to show them. So what happens when you print the report? Okay, you can show the line or no, or only if the any column not zero, then can be shown, okay, when positive balance or when negative balance. It depends on what you actually want to present. And here, the specific, one of the last features we were talking about is the formatting for totals, for specific titles, bold, italic, underline, or new pages. So basically, it's just this. Some of the basic features that you're going to be using, and well, it's just that we would like to work normally in every account schedule by inserting our own design, include our in our first reports the GL accounts. But for those of you who are using advanced costing and budgeting, this can be also included in your design. Okay, what other tools we have? Okay, I was just deleting my lines that I created before, but the idea is that you can also use this function that is insert GL accounts from the chart of accounts, insert flow cash flows. If you have the cash flow module implemented, you can use those accounts as well, and insert cost types. For those of you who have advanced costing, let me see if, no, it's not in this demo. For those of you who have advanced costing implemented, advanced costing is not all, it's nothing but having cost center and profit centers, basically. But it's very useful when you actually want to have a very close look at your expenses and costs, all right? For now, I'm just going to be inserting and using the insert GL function for you to see. I'm going to create, remember, because I have been presenting some information, but the main point of doing this is just to create the specific P&L for my period. So at this point, I'm using the inserting function, and what I'm going to be doing is just try to pick. If you will take a look, here's my chart of accounts starting from the balance sheet. And if I just go down below, I can see that I have some other income statement accounts, all right? I would like to then use this function, insert, so I don't have to type all the chart of accounts or all the income statement. What I will be doing here is that I can use the filter functionality, and I would like to filter for only in this selection window, just give me the income statement accounts. So at this point, I'm finalizing with the net income after filtering that. And the whole idea is that I just immediately can start just inserting. I'm going to click on OK. After, oh, I forgot to make the not only the insertion, but the actual selection. And let me just go back to that window by deleting just this first. I would like to insert GL accounts, selecting the income balance, the income accounts. Once again, income statement accounts. Well, and then I want to select from all this list that it was filtered. I want to now select all of these accounts, or you could just select one by one if you require, one from income, another for expenses, another of cost of goods sold, if you want to be specific on one specific type of a report, and start grouping. Remember that you can create ranges. And here it is, okay? My first account schedule that I'm creating is the income statement with the rows that I'm inserting. So let's remember, this could be, for instance, income services, income product sales, and so on, right? So I'm actually just going to be doing this report. And in this scenario, for reporting, I don't want to show everything all the specific name of the GL account, you can just change it here. We are not changing anything in our actual GL account, but at this point, what I'm just going to be doing is just showing that in my report, I can still edit anything that I want. And here are still my GL account numbers, but you can just get rid of that and just give a new number to these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I have just at this point finished my layout. Also, you can see here that everything is being shown. Yes, 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 you can change that. And as well, for my sales operation, I can just change the specific sign so it doesn't have got to be negative for printing, and for the people who's going to be seeing this report, they understand that sales are, of course, they have a positive sign. But, well, this is basically my layout. And then once I have just done that, I need to create a column layout. Let's do that now. Okay, I have included only the P&L lines. Then later, I need to specify how I want to present the columns. Okay, for me, at this point, I need just to include one, let me see, one default column. And what I want to actually do is being able to insert let's take a look. The budget is here. Why not? This is already done. So I need just to include the specific, here is edit list. Okay, my P&L income statement, I have different column layouts already created. So I can take a look, why not, at the different periods. Okay, I'm going to show you then how this is done. Okay, what I want to do is I want to specify the columns that I'm going to be seeing in my report. I have different columns layout, and let's take a look at the periods and edit it. And here in my first line, I have the current period -2, and -1, and -2. All right. Another way of presenting, okay, let's take a look at the net change that I can use in my report, okay? And we are going to be able to edit it, all right? So I'm going to take a look at the imbalance, why not? Edit column layout. And here, well, it's just present the actual balance, column type balance at date of the specific amount. And here, the whole idea is that as well as in the rows, you can create your column number, the description column header, and actually this should be balance at date. Okay, and the balance at date is as well here. Okay, so this is the different layouts that you have, but you can create your own. We have here the budget analysis. Let's take a look at it so you can use it if you need it. In the column N is editable, and here is the column B for budget and net change. What we have done is that we need the actual net change, but you can add a formula, balance a day, beginning balance. It's more or less like in the rows. Then you have your ledger entries, and here this is very important for the columns. You can create your actual entries, or as we have here in the budget line in column that will be our column number B. Well, the type of entries that are present here are just only budgeted entries, right? Then we have our net amount, and then the formula that, don't forget, at this point where we'll be comparing the net change, the budget, and so on. All right. So what I will be doing, let me sending. There you go. So well, what I will be presenting is I'm going to show the difference between the net change and the budget amounts and making a formulation to be able to appreciate the difference. And that's all, okay? You want to show it, maybe, okay, this is always, and just for always, well, always, never, when positive and when negative. And only then for the rounding factor, only for the columns, this could be none, rounding to 1, rounding to 1,000, and it depends on the type of information that you have, right? So you can just get rid of the decimal places. And since you are actually reporting, you would like to just get rid of that and just present the rounded final numbers, all right? So for my example, I'm going to take a look at the balance, okay? The balance for the income statement. So I have created a layout and then I have included here the default column layout, all right, which is the balance. Just give me the balance. Then I have the last component. So we have the column, the rows, and the last component is the analysis view name. I'm going to take a look at what that is. And if I select from a list, I want to select okay, this is a new customer. Okay, what I will be just presenting for my report is that I can also use the customer dimensions that I have for my report. So if I want to filter, let's remember in this company, the dimension are just 3 customers, type of customers, large, medium, small. So I would like to present my income statement for that specific dimension. So you can see your sales for the large customers and see the profit or see the sales for that specific type of customers and so on. But here you have the income statement, which is basically the report that we wanted to present for this session. And I'm just going to look at the report that was just created, okay? I'm just going to go back to the income statement in order to then process and take a look for the first time at this report that I have created. So for me, what I just wanted to do is the very basic, is just give me the accounts for the income statement and give me the balance at date. Basically, it's just that. All right, very, very easy. So you can now as well, like we have yours shown in our previous lesson, we can just export to Excel, or if we want to drill down, why do we have this balance for the product sales account, okay? So we need to see the detail and just click there. And here we have some income product sales, okay? So the whole idea at this point for me to see the specific transaction is that you can drill down until the specific type of look at this, the rows that were defined, but here only one column, which is the balance at the date. What happened here? What happened next? Okay, all these filters, when do I apply them? Okay, well, let's take a look at another type of column layout name, because this is the total balance, but let's take a look at periods. I'm going to change the format of the columns for my already created report. Here is magic. I still have the report that I wanted, that I have just designed, but here by just changing at the column layout name, it gives me a completely different analysis for this specific type of column layout. I have the analysis for my current period, -1 and -2. Why? Why is this very useful? Because also you can just continue just navigating from period to period by using these arrow tools, and you don't have to at any moment, you won't have to work within Excel anymore. You just create your report and you can navigate and just continue printing or exporting to Excel the actual report once you have defined the actual periodicity as well. So first comes the design of the report, and then the different analysis for the columns will be already there available whenever you want to design any type of specific analysis. Also, I have created another one for budgets. Let's take a look, and I'm going to change it. And here what I'm going to be looking at is that I have already a budget a layout. Let's take a look at this column that is budget and the variance, right? You can decide, maybe you would like to do it for a quarter or the budget for the year. So it's very, very easy to create by just adding a feature that I have presented in other webinars. Just ask if you need for the GL budget filter. What I'm going to do is that I have created a budget for an entire set of months for the 2019 year. I have used the customers and the departments in these budgets. So meaning the departments are for my expenses and the customer groups are for the sales. So I'm in combination of those two, I have just created an actual budget, and I'm just going to be including that budget that I did before. So I can just immediately, let me see, immediately start making analysis on the information that I actually going to be including. Okay, once I have that, I would like to analyze maybe a month, why not also the year. Let's play with the figures. And in this case, I have just changed the specific view to take a look at all these accounts and the budget and the variance. I don't know, it's not bringing my, let's see if I still have filter maybe. Okay. It's not bringing my budget information, but let me see. Let me take a look at the budgets. Okay. Or maybe. Okay. There might be just a bug, but here what I will be presenting is that I will be analyzing the net change, the budget, and the variance of this specific design. So for me, the most important part to present is the tools that I would like to cover in this functionality. Also, let me see if I can just maybe by quarter. And list. Okay, so when I have when everything is coming, the whole idea is that I will be creating all these parameters and being able to decide what I want to do. I want to also present the budgeting never is not updating. Why not to take a look at other reports? For instance, have the retained earnings. It is already pre-configured. Once you have understood, you can just practice, but I would like to give you some more ideas just to finalize our session today. And I would like to take a look at for instance, the retained earnings. As you can see, I can here now see my budget. Okay, in this case, what I will be doing is that, okay, for now I have just created the retained earnings per start net income, distribution to shareholders, and also here the budgeting part is here, right? But let's take a look at the raw number. Here I don't have GL accounts anymore. So in the pre-configured report that was here, instead of using the GL account, the P raw, the P001, P002, this nomenclature was used in order to be able to make it easier. And here, if I take a look how this was actually designed, because I don't see any more GL accounts, only text retained earnings for this first column, and I just can immediately see the amounts. As well, remember, you can toggle between the specific periodicity and here the budget and the totals, all right? So at this point, the whole idea is that for this specific report that was pre-configured for us to use as an example in the mock database, then I will just take a look at how this was designed. And this is going to ask you, if you want to use this report and maybe you want to modify it or add extra feature, it can make a copy. So you don't have to work on the original report, so you don't get any data lost, okay? So in this case, if you're going to plan to re-update a report that was already pre-configured, well, you don't have to worry. If you want to, you need to rework, you can use all the information and create new ones. Okay, what happened here? The designer created in the raw numbers here all the information and used these nomenclatures for every row, and he created his own idea for the equity, retained earnings, period start, net income, and so on. But in this case, the totaling accounts are still here. We still have GL accounts in this section, and we still have formulations, all right, as you can see here. So what we are doing is summarizing the retained earnings for a specific period, but the actual accounts are here, and this is a big range of accounts for account 40,000 until the end of the income accounts. Is a big range, but all summarized into one single line. So just in order to take a look at some specific designs, also you can create and take a look at further analysis, giving you more ideas. I'm going to edit account schedule. Now the cash flow, let's take a look at how this is done. Okay, so as you can see here, first of all, understanding the net cash provided by the operation for one specific period. And here in this section, I have specific formula, GL accounts, all right? And summarizing the income accounts in this case, plus inventory and current liabilities. So the cash flow would be more or less like the assets and the specific liabilities and the result of that, plus taking a look at my investing activities that I have, plus my financing activities as well. So taking a look at the basic cash flow analysis that we could just create, well, we can actually come into and make this BI report actually and have immediately the actual numbers from the system by just adding this idea. Then I just would like to show the report. And here I have a specific GL analysis, no more than that. And for me, it will be very important to understand, okay, what I'm doing at this point is that I will be working with one specific report that is including my GL information and is using my very own idea of how to make a layout for my own criteria. And in this case, you can see that you can still toggle between the change budget variance or a column layout name by dimension or by the specific date filters that I have here. Okay, so this is another example. And just to finalize our session for today, this information can be used actually in order to be presented as a chart in your own role center. So you can include any of these reports. You can create a chart if you need it, or the report by itself can be embedded into your role center. For instance, we have the data for a cash flow chart in this section. And just if I take a look at what do we have, well, it's just summarizing the total receivables, total payables, then another line for total liquid funds and total cash flow, right? With that, what I would like to do is just create a chart where I actually using this number, these specific variables for receivables, payables, liquids, and cash flow, and understanding what I'm doing with that information, I just need to to see the specific role where I'm just working, and we can embed some charts. Don't forget that this is something that we can just do for you. And here is my cash flow with all the variables, the total receivable, total payables, total liquid funds, and the total cash flow. So we have not only used the account schedule to create our own reports with our own criteria, but we also can use them as a chart, and voila, everything is here. Everything is actually in real time. So for me, it's very important to understand how then the actual the actual information is working for me, right? So by the way, I have some other, the cash cycle, cash flow, income expenses. So all this information can be just done immediately. Once you have just make a account schedule, look at this, the account schedule chart list. This is taking information from the chart account schedule that you can create with the variables and just include here, including this here as a chart. Well, I could be just use the actual information for me in order to, well, this was for cash flow. Use any of the charts, and in this example will work like that and present it for to be shown in my role center. So with this, also, well, this is a forecast. I might be presenting then later some other features because we have a artificial intelligence with Cortana working for our cash flow, but this is not the same since we are working in the finance performance area with a cash flow functionality with the actual data that you might have for a company, since we are actually using posted information from your chart of accounts, creating an account schedule report, and then immediately just making a chart to be presented immediately. Voila, everything is done here and presented by year. And even here, you could actually, why not, to select what type of periodicity you would like to see. So here's April, May, and June, right? And this is the way we will be working here. I have as well a cash flow, but this is a forecast, okay? So we will be working with two charts that will give us to the same idea, but with completely different structures and with completely different information to present to the user. Right, so this is account schedules. Hopefully this was interesting, and thank you very much for your time.